financing your next billion. Gain insights into successful engagements with venture capitalists and investors. Get ahead of industry trends, hear from industry leaders, influencers, founders, policymakers, and governments. Stay in the know on how to finance your next billion.
Okay, and we're back. Thank you so much, listening audience. You're back with Financing Your Next Billion, and I'm Yvonne Gamble, your host. And I'm here again with another illustrious speaker for the United Nations Commission on the Status of Women69. As you know, this is the 69th convening of the Status of Women. And what we are doing is we're pausing here at the 5-year mark, and the Beijing Accord that was struck in 1994, we're actually reviewing that because it has benchmarks that need to be met by 2030. It has goals. And so we want to make sure where we are and how close we are to goals and what we need to do in these next 5 years to get to goal. So I'm here today with Sanny Mario Leviste, and Sanny's going to go over and talk to us. We're going to talk to him about from the male perspective. We hear oftentimes in these commissions, which is, by right, we hear from women, women's organizations, women's businesses, women in the political arena, but we really need to understand what is the male perspective in all that is going on with women, not only here in the United States, but around the world. What is their perspective? What do they expect to change, or, that can change, or that is being changed, with all this? Or do they just kind of see it as we're just kind of going around the same, walking around the same maple tree and not really going anywhere with this? So, Sanny, why don't you just come on? Let's give the audience a first high-level look at who is Sanny Leviste.
Sanny Leviste is, he's a father of four daughters, and he had 4 sisters growing up, and from a family of 7, and I've been an educator for the longest time, both on the physical level, on the spiritual level, and on the academic level. So and I still am. I'm both a learner and a teacher. I just turned 70, and I'm enjoying life as far more than many of my classmates in a certain way, because I've at an early age I got into athleticism, and I continue to do so. And teaching came in by accident, and it worked out very well for me. I set up the first Master in Management Technology program in the Philippines after getting a scholarship from the Asian Institute of Management, and that helped me develop that aspect, the management aspect of things. But my social and political life had helped prepare me for a much larger experience than, because of so many variables I had to deal with every day.
And so let's dive right in. That's excellent. Let's dive right in. From the male perspective, how do you perceive all of this that's going on with women, you're coming from the Philippines, and now you're in the United States, and you kind of go back and forth. So you kind of see two different arenas, men and women, working together, growing together, going up together. How do you see this as, how different will this make it be for men when women do, say, achieve the parity or equal pay?
I think we're slowly moving there. We're still moving in the Philippines. It moves a lot faster, I think, because it's a female dominated. There's a very high regard for female. We've had a president that was female. She had oh my gosh, she had beaten during her time. It was unheard of, but she had actually beaten a very strong, entrenched politician, a president who was there for almost 20 years.
Wow.
Yeah. But a lot of events happened that made her, who was not prepared to run for president, because her husband was shot, who was running for president. And so she became the inspiration behind the whole country. And she was wonderful. She was wonderful. I mean, she brought in a different sense of leadership that we find with motherhood, we find with sisters, we find with relatives and friends we choose to deal with, or have to and choose to. See, the have to is something you don't have a choice, but the choose to is very important. That's why I often tell my daughters and my friends, you don't, there are choices that you make. There are choices that you make, and the friends you make are very important, because these friends are people you choose to connect with. Relatives you can't choose. If your relatives are also your friends, that makes it better. But it's very, very important to understand that aspect. So cultures also present a difference. In the Philippines, where women have had that chance, because they are the ones that take care of the kids and mold their early life and concepts. My sisters have done the same for me. My daughters are now my consultants. And I tell them, listen to your kids.
Oh, okay. Like you listen to them. Okay. That's
yeah, no, listen to the kids, because it's their life that you're trying to mold based on your past. But look how technology is changing things. Look how information is changing things. Understand that, and you will have a better chance. Whatever wherever you are, whatever you do, it balances off.
Okay. So with that, would it then be your assessment that as we move forward, because we are going into, say, AI, a more detailed, I should say, AI, augmented realities, artificial intelligence, robotics, we're going into, something that's very detailed, very granular, and we may be looking at a sense of losing the self. So basically, are you saying that women may be in a position to be more able to manage these types of things because they are, have managed for years, like with children and basically the discernment of how, children are and actually growing those children into what they will be, as opposed to children being left behind or being lost. Do you think that that will help to somehow erase or to blur some of these lines that we have, so that it's not a competition to have equal pay? It's not a competition to be in power. It is more or less, it, like you said, when the lady won for be the president there in the Philippines, because she was running on an issue. The husband had been killed, and now that kind of rallied the people around that issue to say we have to be more humane. So do you see that now the focus for women coming into these different types of things and having these different types of liberties will be different?
What happens when a group of the world's greatest minds gifted with wealth beyond our imagination buys a sprawling waterfront property in Toronto? They make plans for a $14.3 billion futuristic city, that's what. Sidewalk Labs released its master innovation and development plans to turn a chunk of Toronto's Lake Ontario shoreline into the most futuristic city in the world. It would result in over 93,000 jobs and a better standard of living for its residents. And today, we're going to take a peek inside. Welcome back to our channel. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe and ring the bell so you never miss a video from us. Google X Sidewalk Smart City.
Oh yeah, but I really see a lot of opportunities for women, because men tend to be very physical, but now over the years you can see that so can women. They can do anything that men can do, but men can't give birth. See, there's a biological difference, and that biological difference will mean they'll have to work together. But the reality is, different cultures, different training, different exposures during childhood make that difference. And when you're taught to be respectful, when you're taught how to communicate, when you're taught to make sure you listen so that you can understand how to turn the conversation in the direction that is important for you. Because many people just like to talk.
Yeah, that's true.
Or not, see? But if they have clarity on what they have, what they want, it doesn't matter now whether you're male or female. And that makes going across the line very easy, because in reality, technology chooses no lines. And if you have access to technology, the capability to communicate, the capability to make quick analysis of which directions things are going and redirect it, because to redirect something moving can be very easy when it's moving and you just tap it from an angle.
Yes, and that makes sense. That makes absolute sense to say that, yeah, technology, with the fact that we're going deeper and deeper into technology, that now it's the gender is really not at issue. The gender is not going to be the leading force or the guiding force in that.
Correct.
It's really the technology that we're all having to work with. And so that will, I can see from what you're saying, in that the next 10, 20 years, maybe the next 50 years is going to be very different for us as far as our societies go, and the roles that we play in society, the male, the female, roles that we play in society are really going to be blurred. I can see that because now, as we're moving into AI, give me your perspective of this whole artificial intelligence, augmented reality. What is your perspective to say, should we not, and how should we?
Well, I was messing around with the AI the other day, and I said, "Oh, I want to write a song and give me these words to appear on that song, keywords." And I process it, and in the process of doing it, and I've been writing songs in the past, and I have a hidden album, which I had written all the lyrics and hired musicians to provide, professional musicians to provide the background, and I sounded like a real singer. But my point is that's not my special skill. I just love music, and one day I decided I'd do it. Now, if I wanted to produce another album, all I have to do is say, what are the most important things that matter to the women of? Then you specify the country, and the countries that you specify, or the areas in the countries that you specify, will be able to answer that, because everything that is available is already accessible through the internet or through some other form of media, and technology can process all of that so much faster. If you use the technology, including the technology of how do we deal with people who respond this way? How do we deal with, you go specific into it, then those who want to learn can really learn a lot and go deep very fast. I say what you're talking about at 10 years, 15, 20 years, or 50 years from now, 50 years is going to be huge. I say in the next 5 years, next year it's going to be different, because the child born now has so much more than those born 20 years ago, 50 years ago, 100 years ago. And strength does not necessarily focus just on muscles, but muscles,
Right.
muscles. Understanding that every aspect of the person is being analyzed as they speak, as they talk, as they move, as they dress, as they carry themselves. And being aware of that, this early, as early as 2 years, grade 2, grade 3, grade 4, they're already very sophisticated compared to others who at grade 7 were already fit to work when school was still being developed. And school is still developing, but now the school is at home. Now the school is electronic. Now we're talking thousands of miles away, and yet look at it. We're on time online. And if we wanted to speak to 100 people or 1,000 people right now, you just press a button and we're there.
We're there. Yeah.
And we're there.
We have blurred the lines. So I think this gives us, this takes a new direction.
Absolutely.
on not just what we're not going after, say, some age-old type of things, but I think really in truism and in part, many of the things that we're going after today really women have them. They really do. A lot of the things that
You
they
always
talk about,
had it.
we've always had it, and we have those things already. And what has to happen is I think women have to come into their own of that realization. We've had presidents. You're talking about a past president of the Philippines, presidents yet to come. And years before her, there were Philippine women who ran the country, ran their provinces, that sort of thing. And that can be seen throughout the world. So this is nothing new, that we're asking about or that we're trying to bring in. I think what has to happen is it's how you see yourself when you look at yourself through the looking glass. Would you agree with that? If you look at that mirror and you say, I don't have, I can't have,
Exactly.
and you convince
Exactly.
yourself that I don't have these things and I can't have these things or whatever deserving or my culture or what have you, and then that's what you begin to believe, then that's what you begin to live. And I think that's what happened, that we stopped realizing what we had and what we were doing, and we started accepting what someone was telling us we had and what we did. And now that technology is on the forefront, we have no choice but to step into these roles. Would you agree with that?
By 2050, our planet will be a vastly different place. By 2050, artificial intelligence will be everywhere. AI-driven stores will allow you to purchase goods without cashiers or waiting lines. AI will diagnose and treat patients, manage transportation, and analyze massive quantities of data. AI chatbots and voice recognition systems will sound like and behave just like real people. AI will be implemented into robots. By 2050, robot dogs and other pets will serve as companions. Robots will dominate factories and begin to serve as teachers, cooks, pharmacists, law enforcement officers, athletes, and other professionals. In 2050, universal translators will remove all language barriers and voice recognition will be ubiquitous. Hundreds of sensors will be installed in our clothes, homes, and overall environment to monitor our well-being and improve our lives. Computing will change. By 2050, we may run on quantum computers. Based on the properties of quantum physics, quantum computers could deliver massive leaps in computing power, outstripping any current transistor-based models. AI and computers will integrate into humans. Brain chips like Elon Musk's Neuralink will treat neurological disorders like Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, spinal cord injury, and blindness. These brain chips will allow people to control computers and prosthetics with no physical interaction. By 2050, we may be controlling things with our minds and communicating through brain signals. By 2050, robotic prosthetics may be stronger and more advanced than our own biological ones. Prosthetic eyes and ears will enter the market, curing blindness and deafness. And in 30 years, like AI, virtual reality will be everywhere. People will try on clothes in virtual reality closets, and holograms will bring FaceTime to a new level. VR platforms will allow you to move around while staying still. We will be able to travel the world and experience life on other planets, all from home.
I absolutely agree. And in fact, that's what I tell my daughters. That's what I tell my students. Often when I go to the Philippines to go on vacation, couple of months or 3 months. If it's a 3-month vacation, I can easily get easily. Goodness gracious, it's happened for the last 5 or 6 times that I've been there, where I would go in and I'd be asked to teach again. Hey, I'm supposed to be retiring already. No, we need you. Why? Because our teachers are still teaching the same way. In America, it's different. And I tell them, no, in America, it's the same. We all have 2 pairs of eyes, two holes in our noses, and we have everything built in for everybody. Then everyone can develop the power and the strength, because it's not based on physicality alone. It's based on how you can change the world, or the circle of
Mhm.
every person that you touch, whether you touch through written words in books, whether you touch through a conversation, whether you touch and communicate, and they embrace it, you've just expanded your world to the size of the world of the person who has embraced it and shares. It has to be shared, because if it's not shared, and with the right thoughts and the right ideas, you can get all of these messages out in so short a time. Next year, it'll be different already, significantly different. And if you have a tallying system for it and say, okay, guys, what are the 10 most important things we have to deal with in the Philippines for women? What are the 10 most important things that we got to deal with for the women of Canada, of America, of any country? Let's sort them out. Let's gather that information. These are the numbers. How many of that can fall in to what we study in the United Nations? This becomes very, very important. How many more women are actually involved in the United Nations? How many more leaders are actually involved in the development of their country from the village level going up? A lot more.
Yeah.
A lot more. And yet, we feel it's not the same. It's time for that culture to change. And it changes one household at a time.
Now, we've called on many cultures, many countries, many people around the world to change. What
Yes.
are they changing to? Much of what, when you say change, that
The mindset.
it's a mindset, and many people, the resistance is generally because people don't know what's on the other side of the door. If I open this door, I don't know what's on the other side, so I'll leave this door closed.
Yeah.
And so if we're asking them to change, then that's why it's always easier to do that with the children, because the children are coming into a new world. And so
Right.
it's much easier for them, because everything they're learning is, they're not seeing it as it's a change. It's everything is new to them. The whole entire world is new to them. And so, but for those people who are here and existing and many have become complacent in the world around them, and many have become comfortable, have lived and have flourished in the world around them. Now you're saying you need to change.
No. How do we change? We accept what we are and grow from that. Because whatever is given to us in our lives is 100% of who we are, and how we develop that, who we can be, 100% of who we can be. And that who we can be is developed by the mind, the mindset, the expansion of that mindset by shared thought. So if every group, if every country can be divided into sectors, you will be able to identify who can do better at what. And I like to cook, I like to eat, but hey, I can cook too. These are the things we do in cooking. I've taught my girls when they were growing up, when they were started becoming teenagers. I taught them how to open coconuts with an open blade. You know? And they learned. Of course, when they started dating, they forgot about that already.
You forgot about that already.
But my point is that we can buy that already peeled for us, and I said yes, but you will always remember that if you needed to, you can go from scratch and build what you want.
Okay, well, we're going to let that be that last word on this. I like that. You can go from scratch and build what you want. So there's never a reason to be afraid of the change, even if the change is totally different. It takes you in a totally different direction. You have what you need right in front of you to build from scratch and to do it better. Every single time is an opportunity to do it better and to do it so that it actually encompasses the world that you're living in now and the world that you're going to grow into later, especially for the children.
Absolutely. I mean, you can have pets who will find their way out of any cage, and yet you can leave a cage open, but a pet that has been taught to stay in the cage will stay in the cage even if you force it out.
Very true. Very true.
So the cage is not from the environment outside. It's the cage closest. It's the feeding hand while they're growing up. They learn their independence by saying, "I want this." Okay, make it. This is how to do it. I'll do the first sandwich. You do the next, or I'll make you one sandwich. You make one for your younger sister or your younger brother.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. And I want to thank my guest, Sanny Leviste, here with us, speaking into the United Nations Commission on the Status of Women and giving us a glimpse and a viewpoint from the male perspective on where we are. And basically, what Sanny has said to us is that women, you've always had it. You've always had the power. You've always had the position. And now you need to look in that looking glass and see and do what you need to do to make those necessary changes. Thank you again. This has been Financing Your Next Billion Talks, and we're live here, and we look to see you on the next show.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Financing your next $1 billion? Contact us to be a guest. Join us for the next show.